Hi, this is Score Chaser, and this is going to be awesome. Many years ago, whenever we would try to play our NES or our Game Boy, we'd plug the cartridge into the system, we would get the blinking screen of death, or we would get the garbled word Nintendo on our screen. To remedy this, we would take the cartridge out of the system and we would blow on it from left to right, right to left, in the hopes of blowing out any debris or dust that was trapped on the pins. Unfortunately, that also meant that we were blowing spit, food particles, and whatever junk that we had in our mouths onto the pins, and then we would transfer that into our console. It would cause a lot of problems. But I'm here to show you a better way of maintaining your cartridges to ensure their use for many years to come and to make them look a little bit prettier. I wanted to get some really dirty cartridges, and the best way to do that is to order from GameStop. I have gotten some really disgusting cartridges from GameStop. Clean and maintenance my ass, really. But it worked best for the process of this video, so I'm going to be showing you how to clean a Game Boy cartridge, a Nintendo cartridge, and an N64 cartridge, and common things that you'll see and how to remedy some of these things. The best tool that you will have in your arsenal for cleaning cartridge-based games is isopropyl alcohol. I recommend anything about 70 works the best for me that I've noticed, and Q-tips. Q-tips are a godsend. You can clean out your cartridges so fast and easily with these things. So basically what you want to do is you want to take a little bit of the alcohol, not too much, you don't want to have the tip too wet. Just want to dunk it in the alcohol, and you want to rub off any excess on the lid. And then you take your cartridge, you put the Q-tip inside the cartridge, and you just swipe from left to right, making sure that you get both ends of the pins if they are accessible. Just do a nice scrubbing up and down motion like you're brushing your teeth. Little circles. You can see my Q-tip is very dirty from that. That means that all of that was on the pins of my cartridge. And then that would be going into my system. That causes reading failures and all sorts of other problems. So after you give it a good swipe on both ends, you want to take the dry end of the Q-tip and you want to dry the pins. Using the same motions, light scrubbing. And depending on how dirty your cartridge is, you want to do this many times. Yeah, look at that. That is filthy. So I'm going to want to go again with another Q-tip. Always keep many Q-tips on hand. I always have at least a huge box. So I'm going to take some more alcohol, again, making sure that it's not too wet, and we're just going to gingerly wipe the pins. And I'd recommend doing this if you don't have cases for your cartridges, to do this at least once a month, to ensure that they are always the cleanest and in best condition. Oh man, look at that! That is horrible! I mean, I've seen worse. I've cleaned some cartridges that have been kept in a barn for about a year. One of them was an old Clue Land that my friend had for the NES, and the sticker was completely thrashed, and the cartridge, the inside of it, had things living in it. There were all sorts of bug corpses and webs, but by using methods like this, I was able to clean the cartridge and get it working again. Now, as you can see, this Q-tip is still dirty, so I'm going to have to end up doing maybe 3 or 4 rounds of this. So I just wanted to give you the general idea of how to clean the pins. As for like the labels and the outside and the back of the cartridge, as you can see, there's some food residue right there. So the best tool that I've used for this is paper towels and Windex, or any kind of window cleaner. I don't want to be too specific. You want to fold it up like this, that way it can hold a good amount of the liquid. And you don't want to get it too wet as well. You just want to get a little bit, like on the corner like that. Make sure that goes around evenly. Then you just gently wipe down the cartridge. As you can see, there's stuff all in the middle of here. You could take your fingernail and just scrape that crud out. and then be sure to wipe it down with the dry side. You don't want to use anything too abrasive like the back end of a sponge or anything too corrosive because you will scratch up the cartridge and destroy the label. I was actually happy enough that this cartridge itself did not come with some kid's name written across it, so I was really happy about that. Now for the food particles, same thing, you just wipe it down. And this may just be a deep embedded stain, so it might not ever come out, but we can at least try to make it not so noticeable. Yeah, that's deep. That's a deep stain. I've had some luck getting some stuff like this off before, or not at all completely, so you just gotta be delicate with it. But yeah, you just want to wipe it down, make sure it's nice and neat. If you have cases for these, I recommend that you keep them in the cases, or if you have anything that kind of clips onto the bottom to protect the pins. There were a lot of video rental stores that actually had fitted video cassette cases that fit the cartridges. I have a few of those in storage. I recommend keeping them in things like that. Anything that you can keep to basically protect the cartridge itself is best. But if you don't have anything, I'd recommend keeping them without the pins being exposed. Like if you keep them on a shelf, you know, keep them with the pins facing against the wall of the shelf, never have them open. You know, anything you can do to protect the pins, it works. Now for Game Boy games, it's the same procedure. You just want to take a little bit of isopropyl alcohol, and then you just put your Q-tip inside of it, and then you just run it back and forth. Do little scrubby motions. Yeah, you can see that this one's been places. Game Boy cartridges especially, I've noticed, are the filthiest. Generally because if you didn't have a carrying case as a kid and you wanted to carry multiple cartridges, you just stick the cartridge in your pocket and just go. So you would have all kinds of lint and dust and just nasty, nasty things getting into your games, and it'd prevent them from working, then we'd blow on them and make it worse. Yeah, it's just very simple, very easy to keep these clean. At a later point, because I'm still learning how to do it, these cartridges had batteries inside them, and it's been many years since these games were released, and a lot of the batteries have gone dead. So I am learning how to solder, and I am going to, at a later point, do a video on how to replace the dead battery in a Pokemon video. Now, there are other people that have done videos using X-Acto knives and electric tape to replace a battery, and I don't recommend those methods because, one, they're really dangerous and you can hurt yourself, and two, it's not really a proper fix. You know, you could do a lot better. You could potentially damage the cartridge doing that too. Now, when cleaning the outside of the cartridge and the label, same thing applies as with what I showed you with the N64. You just take a paper towel, a little bit of window cleaner, and you just gently rub the outsides. The Pokemon games, as I said, or at least all Game Boy games, especially ones that were loved well, tend to be the grungiest. You want to take the paper towel, and you just want to fit it in these little ridges, get all the debris and dust out. Wipe out the thumb groove, and just gently do that and make sure that you rub the dry end on it. And when I say rub, I don't mean apply pressure, because then you could basically rub the ink off the sticker, and you don't want to do that. Just gently, gently, gently. And I recommend keeping them in Game Boy cases. So that way you keep the pins, the sticker, and the plastic of the cartridge nice and safe. Now, another thing that I noticed a lot of kids did, was that they would take their initials and they would write them on the back of the cartridge. In teaching myself methods on removing permanent ink from cartridges from permanent markers, you can see that the letter P is kind of worn away, and I'm still working at it. How I did this was I again took the mighty Q-tip and the all-powerful isopropyl alcohol, and I gently rub over the ink. This will take, it'll take time, but you just gotta be patient. So you can see it's starting to come up a little already. But you just got to keep at it, and it'll come off. As for permanent marker on a sticker, I have not found a fix for that yet. But if I do, I will let you guys know. But again, you just got to keep rubbing it down, be nice and gentle with it. Again, don't use anything abrasive or else you'll scratch the cartridge, and we don't want that. We want our cartridges looking nice. But yeah, you just got to keep doing that. Got to keep working at it, and eventually it'll come off altogether. So, if not, be extremely faint. Now, with NES cartridges, it's the same thing as with the N64 and the Game Boy. You just take a little Q-tip and the isopropyl alcohol, like so. And you clean the pins. Okay, both sides. There we go, and then we dry off. As you can see, the Q-tip on this one is really clean because I recently cleaned this game about a month ago. And so it's nice and squeaky clean. Let me just dry it off. And recommend again, if you have these cases, you keep your cartridges nice and safe. If you don't have access to these when you first buy the game, same thing with Game Boy games, you can easily find them on eBay, or there are people that constantly make stuff like this for you to keep your cartridges in. But yeah, that's all there really is to it. At a later point, I will show you how to clean a CD game, and I'm talking about deep scratches and all that. But until then, remember that life stinks, play games. Like and subscribe, have an awesome day.